This is a GoPro, one of the most used action cameras for a long time, and I have wanted one from my 13, but instead I got this crappy one. But finally, the last year I got myself a GoPro Hero 10, but to be honest, I was a bit disappointed with the image quality. I have always seen the incredible footage from YouTubers on the GoPros and action sports, and it looked so good. But my footage on the other hand didn't look that great. But I have found a solution for the best cinematic settings on a GoPro, so let's quickly get through it. I have found out that GoPros have fixed focus, and if you go too close to some subject, it is not perfectly sharp and it looks like crappy blurred footage. But what it really is, it is just out of focus. So don't try to do those cinematic close-ups of faces, eyes or some subject. It won't work out, trust me. Some say that it is an action cam, so you should use wide or super view lens. Well, yes, that applies to sports, but if you want the best cinematic footage, I think the linear or narrow just works better in my opinion. Yes, you will crop out some pixels and resolution, but with that will help my last tip, so wait for that. Yes, there is some way how to undo the distortion in editing programs from the super view lens, for example like in DaVinci Resolve, but who would like to do that actually? No one. But hey, it is just a possibility. For me, works narrow or linear. This is also really important. If you want to do some color grading on your GoPro. If you want to do some color grading on your GoPro footage, and you should if you want to have the best cinematic footage, then you really need to film in flat color profile in order to have more dynamic range and more room for color correction, but also for color grading. These cameras has pretty small sensors, so in order to don't have any noise in your footage, you need to set the minimum ISO to 100, but also the maximum ISO to 100. And even on the 100 you can see a little bit of grain in the footage. If you need more, you can crank it up a bit, but you need to expect there will be more noise and you will need to do more denoising in the post-production. Just a quick note, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. Yeah, I can wait, I have a lot of time. Don't worry. Yep, just do it, no worries. With the ISO, the next setting which can control your exposure is shutter speed. Set it to manual. You don't want anything on auto. Well, maybe white balance, that is okay-ish if it is on auto, but anything else you need to switch to manual. And shutter speed, you want at least double your frame rate. So if you are recording at 50 frames, go for 100 of a second or more. If you have the luxury to use NDs on your GoPro, this is the best. Go for the double of your frame rate and then adjust the exposure with the NDs. Action cameras tend to over-sharpen the image a lot of times, so in the settings you need to set the sharpness to medium or even low. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And with the bitrate, you need everything max full, give me everything you have. More data usually means more quality and more data to work with in post-production, so don't forget about this one. Oh yeah, finally we are here. The main key point which I have found out make the biggest difference in overall image quality. The resolution on a GoPro makes a big difference. Obviously it makes sense that between 1080p and 4K will be big difference, that everybody knows. But did you know that there is a big difference in overall image quality between 5.3K and 4K? I didn't. I have found this out when I was using the GoPro for the first few shoots, and I was shooting in 4K and I was a bit disappointed with the quality. Then I have switched to 5.3K. Whoo! Now we're talking, baby! Yes, you can go only for 50 or 60 FPS, but I will rather have the 50 FPS and better image quality. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm really into image quality over anything else. And also, if you want to have 4K rendered video from the GoPro, and if you are shooting in the 5.3K, you can use linear or narrow mode, and it should be all fine, as I mentioned in the second point. Post-production is also really important part of the process. If you shoot awesome footage with the best settings, but your edit just looks terrible, all of this was a bit worthless. So in post-production you need to have nice edit. I'm not going into details, that would be a whole another video about only editing. Then you have color grading. I would not consider myself a good colorist, so there is bunch of other tutorials from professionals explaining color grading in details. But I am just simply adjusting the exposure with curves, then adding saturation, sharpness and adjusting the white balance, and then I am adding some LUTs and I'm tweaking it just a bit. So this was all about my go-to action cam. Here you have something about my main camera, and thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.